Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Mirza, Lovina Efendi with last NPM 006 from international class. So today I will explain about my assignment. This is question from C101 about setting productivity standards, and Walton INC Mechanical Studies indicate that the company intended use output rate for one per should be 1000, and then for the operation average is 600 pieces per hour, and the table show worker and the hourly output in piece. And then for the engineering supporting standard based on 1000 pieces per hour, for accounting department 750 pieces per hour, and for the supervisor department on 600 pieces per hour. And we required to specify argument that could be use each by proponent. And number 2 is decide what alternative best reconciles the needs of cost control and employee motivation. And then I will explain it on the next slide. The first one is engineering standards, 1000 pieces per hour. And based on the mechanical studies, the press are technically capable producing 1000 pieces per hour because this is represent the maximum potential output. And for the strength is provide a long-term ambitious brand march and encourage efficiency and innovation and align with machine design capacity. But for the weakness, it's unrealistic in short term, and because it ignores human limitation like fatigue, setup time, and skill differences, because we as human need to take rest, and maybe this demotivate the worker if seen as attainable, because this is based on mechanical studies based on machine, not only humans. Number 2, it's accounting department standard 750 pieces per hours. It's already proven by Allen and Miller. And for the good points, it's not too high and not too low, and it can be motivated for other worker and fair for cost control and planning. And for the weakness or bad point, it's still lower than machine full power and hard for weaker workers, and maybe needs training and effort to reach. And the number 3, it's supervisor standard 600 pieces per hour. It matches current average of all workers that already provide in the table for the average. And for the good points, it's easy to reach by everyone and keeps morale high and simple to apply. But for the weakness, it doesn't push a worker to improve because it's a lower level, and this is the average, and maybe can waste the machine potential and weak for cost control. Number 2, the best alternative for reconciling cost control and motivation, in my opinion, it's from accounting department, because they can produce 750 pieces per hours, and it's most balanced choice because it's not too high and not too low, and it still can improve, motivates improvement beyond the current 600 average, and it's realistic enough to compare with the 1000 pieces per hours, and it aligns with cost control goals while still respecting worker morale. So that's all from number 1. Into number E1111 about various overhead rates. So it's already provided in the questions. The estimate overhead is 225,000 and blah blah blah. So we required to compute the overhead rate to be used in applying factory overhead production of on each following basis: unit of production, material cost, direct labor hours, direct labor cost, and machine hours. This is my answer. The first, per unit of production, the formula is estimated factory overhead divided by unit of production. 225,000 divided 25,000, and we found the $9 per unit. And then the second, based on material cost, if it's based on book, we multiply with 100 with a same formula. So we calculated as 225,000 divided by 500,000. We can find it $0.45, but we multiplied with 100, so it turns out 45,000 of material cost. And then number 3 is based on direct labor hours. It is same, so factory overhead estimated divided by direct labor hours. 225,000 divided by 56,2500. It turns out $4 per labor hour. And then number 4, based on direct labor cost. So because in the question it's estimated 56,25,000 direct labor hours at a cost of $8 per hour, so we multiply it and it turns out 4,500,000 total direct labor cost, and then 225,000 divided by the total direct labor, it turns out $0.50. But if for direct labor cost we multiply it with 100, so it turns out 50% of direct labor cost. And then the last one, based on machine hours, it's the same. Estimated factory overhead divided by machine hours, 225,000 divided by 25,000, it turns out $3 per machine. So that's all my answer. Thank you so much for the attention.